Hello friends, congratulations that you have taken one step further in gaining the knowledge of marketing. Present video is an attempt to explore marketing activities of services industry in an economy. I am sure this video, Marketing of Services, will help you in achieving the goal of learning how to market your services as an entrepreneur. The video is based on scholarly readings and experiences of life, and I am your instructor Dr. Alka Jain. The video aims at familiarizing the viewers with the challenges and opportunities of services marketing. In this process, we will cover the following topics: definition and special features of services, difference between services and products, 7 P's of marketing of services, quality control in services, classification of services, levels of services, application of the theory in services of a hospital. So we'll understand first what are services. Services have been defined by the American Marketing Association as activities, benefits or satisfactions which are offered for sale or are provided in connection with the sale of goods. As per this definition, services are purely an experience that the consumer gets through the performance of the service provider. In other words, the service is not a mere product but a bunch of factors of customer satisfaction joined with another bunch of service provider skills and efficiency. Philip Kotler opines that a service is any activity or benefit that one party can offer to another that is essentially intangible and does not result in the ownership of anything. Its production may or may not be tied to a physical product. The above two definitions will create the base of this video, but it is important to have a broader look while defining this complex term. Lehtinen further clarifies the term and says service is an activity or a series of activities which takes place in interactions with a contact person or a physical machine and which provides consumer satisfaction. In short, service is a task done for someone else. The other person here either cannot do this task or chooses not to do it himself or herself. These tasks can be a haircut, cooking food or washing cars, etc. But scope of services is not limited to such small activities only. Professor William has identified one special feature of a service. That is, to provide a service may or may not require the use of tangible goods. However, when such use is required, there is no transfer of the title, that is permanent ownership, to these tangible goods. So we have seen that services are special by nature when compared to goods. We shall try to analyze these special features of services now. First is experience. Higher consumer association with the services is reflected in this component of services, which is not seen in products. This particular feature is quite important because Theodore Levitt chooses not to accept services different from goods. Instead, he names services as experience goods because goods like holidays, travels, etc., which can be evaluated and seen only after experiencing them, are a part of services. Second is benefit. Benefit is something that aids or promotes well-being. It also means doing good to something or someone. This particular feature is the basis of value addition. Third is activity. An activity is the trait of being active or an existing procedure. Hence, we can say that an activity is something that happens during the service, unlike a product. For a product, we don't need a set of activities happening in front of the consumer. Fourth is performance. Performance can be defined as the act of doing something successfully. Process or manner of functioning or operating or any recognized accomplishment is a performance. This component highlights the importance of consumer satisfaction in services. Fifth is interaction or communication. A mutual or reciprocal action or the activity of conveying information or a connection allowing access between persons is called interaction or communication. In services, this interaction can take place between the user of the service and the service provider at the time of delivery of the service. Sixth is transaction. The act of transacting within or between groups as carrying on commercial activities is transaction. This component makes the services a business entity, hence a topic to be studied by management thinkers and entrepreneurs. Seventh is value addition process. When some beneficial factor is added through some process, that is called value addition process. Without this value addition, all above said 6 components of service can be useless for the buyer and for the seller. For example, taking a haircut is worthless if it does not give your face a better and sophisticated look. This betterment is value addition in our example. Now we'll try to study what is the role of tangibility and intangibility in a service. A service cannot be seen, heard, smelled, tasted, or touched, as products can be felt through our sense organs. But at times, the service provider and the service user both need some tangible objects like books in education, cream in fashion services, false teeth in dental care services, or stent for heart surgery. So this particular feature gives services three different levels. First is pure service with no tangible product involved. These are the types of services where only services are the physical part of customer satisfaction. These services can be babysitting, managing finance of clients, or education. But the fact is that there is hardly any available service of this nature. Almost all services need ambience, if not any other resource, which is counted as tangible factor. For example, if this is education or giving a lecture, even then you need a classroom, and ambience of the classroom acts as a tangible factor of the product. Second level is services using tangible products to a limited extent. Some industries like hotel, restaurants contain a higher degree of tangibility in their services. If the hotel rooms are not properly furnished and the food in restaurants is not delicious and hygienic up to acceptable level, then the customer will not be attracted towards their services. For a teacher, for example, we can at the most say teacher A teaches better than teacher B, but for a restaurant services, we'll usually say food in restaurant A is better than restaurant B's food. So if in the first example we were talking about skills, in the second example we are talking about tangible products. We were giving importance to employee skills only in the first level, but in second level again, due importance is given to the tangible part of the service also. Third is services based on tangible goods only. At this level, tangible product becomes more important than the service itself. Company product based services like beauty salons. These days we have Shades and Shehnaz Beauty Salon, where only L'Oreal and Shehnaz herbal cosmetic products are used. Then we have tea and coffee lounges of special brands like Wagh Bakri and Nescafe. Intangibility was one major feature that makes services different from products. Other important features are inseparability, variability, perishability, heterogeneity, and ownership. Inseparability. Production and consumption are simultaneous. These two cannot be separated. It requires presence of the performer or service provider most of the time. Second is variability. It is very difficult to standardize quality while providing a service. Third is perishability. Service cannot be stored for future, has to be consumed while being produced. This is a problem of demand fluctuation. Fourth is heterogeneity. Heterogeneity is non-uniformity in composition or character, which here means that same service cannot be provided by all service providers at all times. Then fifth is ownership. Customer has access to but not ownership of facility or activity or tangible part of the service. Now this slide will help us in taking a look at various services around us which we see every day. A few are listed here for the learners. For example, when we talk about tours and travel services, car helpline, car rental services also become a part of this particular industry. When we talk about food industry, we have tea, coffee shops, restaurants. When we talk about hospitality, we have guest houses, hotels, motels, paying guests, accommodation. Then when we go back to food industry, we see that there are different kinds of services organization. For example, floor mills, bars, pubs, food caterers, canteens. Then we have education industry, which have organizations like universities, schools, coaching centers, tuitions, vacation schools, and hobby classes, etc. For entertainment industry, we have art galleries, theatre, film distribution, discotheque, fancy dress rental, amusement parks, orchestra, etc. In finance industry, we have investment advisory, banks, CAs, finance consultancy, insurance, chit fund, foreign exchange brokers, loans, ATMs and share brokers, etc. In healthcare industry, we have clinics, hospital, diagnostic centers, yoga centers, gymnasium, physiotherapists, health clubs, blood banks, eye banks, etc. So this way the list is unending and it is not possible to list all the services in one slide, but it is sufficient to give the viewers an idea of what kinds of services are we talking about. Now we'll see how these services can be classified. These can be classified on the basis of, first is equipment based and person based services. Many services like education, beauty treatments, medical care, etc. need the presence of a teacher, beautician and a doctor respectively. But other services which are equipment based, they may not require the person to be there. Second classification can be labor intensive and resource intensive services. There are services where use of skilled labor is mandatory and the service provider needs to be present at the time of service delivery. A teacher can start his lecture without any book, while a dentist needs adequate set of instruments before starting the treatment of a patient, which requires high capital to be invested and resources to be obtained. Third classification is of standardized and customized services. How much customization is required in a particular service is also a successful criteria of classification. In a school, a standard education is provided under a standard pattern to the students, but in tuition center, the education is provided as per the level of intelligence and need of the student. Next is services for individual and industrial customers. Just like products, services industry also deals with individual and industrial, both types of consumers. Then we have physical and mental services. Hill in 1997 gave this beautiful classification of services. Under this category, the plan and span of consumer satisfaction is studied. A beautician services are physical services, while a psychologist services are of mental type. Next classification is of permanent and temporary effect of service. Services like beautician and laundry etc. are lifetime services. Their need is in fact lifetime because their utility does not come to an end, while laser beauty services are one-time services. Once done, maybe you don't need that service again, which once received will give you a comparatively permanent effect. Next is single location and multiple location services. Another categorization can be on the basis of location. Education is a single location service, while railway is a multiple location service. All transport services, postal services fall under multiple location services. But this is to be noticed that in modern business environment, the concept of franchising has diluted this particular classification. Next is profit and non-profit services. Some services like taxi, cinema hall, gymnasium are purely of profit-oriented nature, while temples, midday meals, etc. are purely of non-profit nature. Then consumption-based classification gives us seasonal and non-seasonal services. Hobby classes during summer vacation is a seasonal service, while services provided by a news channel is non-seasonal. Then we have another interesting type of classification of services which is based on the willingness of the user to use the service. Hospital, ambulance, funeral services are least wanted by anyone, but everyone has to use them. So this is a special kind of classification of services. Now we'll talk about level of services. Products are simpler to understand, being one level of use and purchase, but services do not come alone to the customer. Services are a bunch of benefits at various levels. Kotler has defined 5 product levels for a services industry. First, he talks about core benefit, the fundamental benefit or service that a consumer is buying. For example, when he goes to a hotel, the core benefit that he is looking for is rest and sleep. Second is basic product. This is basic functional attribute. For example, in the hotel there can be any type of bed and washroom. Then expected product. This is the set of attributes or conditions the buyer normally expects. Expectations of the customer like clean room, large towel, quietness, etc. These are expected products in the bundle of services. Fourth level is augmented product that meets the customer's desire beyond expectation, like prompt room service and convenient check-in check-out time. These can be augmented part of the hotel service which give the customer delight. Then the fifth is potential product. The possible evolution to distinguish the offer. This can be a luxury suite in a hotel. This can be a potential product for which the consumer is looking forward to. And Gronroos has given us 3 levels of a service. First level is same. He also talks about core service, that is main service offered. Second is augmented service, service delivery system, accessibility, interaction and customer participation. All these are part of augmented service. Then C is marketing communication of the service. We need to effectively manage this communication with the customer from the company. We'll try to understand this concept with the help of an example. When you go for a haircut, core service is the cut given to your hair. Augmented service is ambience and cleanliness inside the salon. soothing conversation with the client. Then marketing communication can be any type of package offered by the saloon informed to the customer through WhatsApp. Now, what can be the challenges in marketing of services? They say no services can be stored. So absence of inventory is a big challenge in services marketing. The service providing entrepreneurship depends more on manpower than machines or equipment. Inconsistency is another problem, as two different persons cannot provide the client with the same level of service, and even the same person may not be able to give excellent service all the time. Inseparability of the service provider at the time of service encounter brings high dependence on the staff and service provider. Then business pulling by the staff is a very big challenge, because the staff who provides good service to the client can pull the satisfied client to his own establishment. This can be seen in tuition industries or consultancy services. Then fifth is intangibility. Intangibility leads to less satisfied customers because evaluation of a service is purely intangible factor. Then sixth challenge is incorrect approach by many service providers that brings bad image to the services industry. Many service providers follow the approach, make hay while the sun shines. When customer is being treated for one knee, many doctors have been observed suggesting the patient to get the other knee also replaced. This may bring bad image for the hospital and for other services also. Then next is time loss for service consumers. Understanding the value of time of a customer is important for a service provider. Long waiting hours demotivate and demoralize the customers at times. We see customers going back if the queue in front of a doctor's services is long, though a doctor's service is a necessity these days. Now we'll talk about services marketing mix. 4 P's are same as the 4 P's of marketing for physical products, but special features of services bring in 3 more P's in the marketing mix of services marketing. These 7 P's of services marketing are product, price, place, promotion, people, process, and physical evidence. Product. Product here stands for the service provided to the user. This could be a railway seat or a massage or a cab. Just like a product, service is also a bundle of activities attached with the core product. For example, to serve food in a restaurant will start with first activity of greeting you when you enter the restaurant, offering a table for dinner, taking orders from you, cooking food in the kitchen, food served at your table, and so on. So a service may be defined as a bundle of activities to satisfy one need or many needs of the customer. Second P of services marketing mix is price. Pricing decisions are more complicated for services than products. For example, in a restaurant, the customer does not pay for the food only. The same food in a 5-star hotel will be priced differently from a dhaba type or a very low-cost restaurant, or from roadside vendors where the waiter may not be well dressed and the cook is not even wearing masks and gloves. Third P, place. This becomes more important when it comes to providing a service. A hospital in a remote area may not get good number of patients, and a school in the middle of the city will get more students, of course. Fourth P is promotion. Promotional efforts for a service are as complex as for a product. Film stars endorsing certain tourism products and services, cricketers promoting many services. This participation of celebrities only tells us how important this promotion of services is. Now, this new P, people. People is the most important P when it comes to services, because the service is provided with the help of people only. On the other side of the exchange, customers association is equally important, which is again people. Sixth is process. Processes are as important as they are in manufacturing a product. But here it is a separate P, because the process of producing a service can affect the customer directly, while in a product it is not so. The process of manufacturing a product may not affect the customer at all. For example, how and where a pair of scissors was manufactured hardly makes any difference to the customer of scissors. But whether that scissor was sanitized after the previous customer's haircut is a part of process which can affect the health of a customer in this COVID-19 era. Seventh P is physical evidence. Physical evidence is any tangible component of the bundle of services provided to the customer. It is normally the place or the environment at the time of sale of the service. This may be a hotel reception and room for guests or a company's website. Now we'll talk about quality control in services. How to keep a check on quality control. First tool can be effective internal efforts. Only a satisfied employee can satisfy a customer. This is the principle of internal marketing, which is all the more important in services due to presence of direct association of the employee with the customer or the user. Otherwise, there are cases where bad mouth publicity of the staff who is providing service to the customer has taken the business away from the organization. Second can be teamwork. For quality control, the management of a service organization should prepare such a group of workers who are working together for the achievement of organizational goals. Proper recruitment and selection, effective training. All these tools help in giving the employees better organizational environment, and this better organizational environment for the team provides better services to the client. Third is well qualified, skilled and presentable employees. Since service is a process and experience for the customer which he does not forget easily, so it is quite important that the employees of a service organization are skilled and well equipped. If these employees are also presentable, then the seventh P, physical evidence, is enhanced. Next is updation with latest technology of relevant field. To keep themselves technologically updated is not important for product manufacturers only, but is equally important for service providing organizations also. The organization that cannot provide the customers with benefits of new technologies is left behind in the competition. Next is performance control. This is highly required in a service organization because special features like direct communication between employee and customer at the time of service encounter may require some control so that bad word of mouth is not spread. Next is role conflict. If there is a conflict among the employees, that should be resolved immediately before it shows up in front of the customers so that negative effects on the organization can be avoided. And the last can be role ambiguity. Each and every employee should have clear set of instruction with them about their role in the service procedure. Without this role clarity, the organization may face problems like duplication of tasks or maybe down performance. We have another model of quality control, the three-dimensional quality approach in services, which is given by Lehtinen, that emphasizes on the three elements: physical quality, interactive quality and corporate quality. Physical quality is more like physical evidence, but it is not only the place. In many cases, it can also be the outcome. For example, in a haircut service, it hardly makes any difference to the customer whether the service providing employee took 2 hours to give him or her a new cut. If the customer does not like it, the physical quality of the service is not approved and the customer is left dissatisfied. We can say that physical products are the components of physical elements of a service. Moreover, physical support can be given with the help of instruments and environment. Second is interactive quality. It is important for service providing company as well as the customer of the service. Interaction between the customer and the company takes place at the time of service delivery also. If this interaction is not of the required quality, it may harm the service organization. This is the stage where the promise is enabled. Third is corporate quality. This is institutional quality that has been developed with due course of time in the history. This is affected by the corporate image of the service organization. For example, customers go to Fortis or Apollo Hospital for their corporate quality, but other two, the interactive quality and physical quality, these are experienced while using these services after checking the corporate quality. Now we'll talk about services marketing triangle that helps in guiding how the quality of a service can be controlled. Company, customer and employees are the three corners of this triangle where each line denotes three types of marketing: external, internal and interactive. External marketing is the communication from the company to the customers where service organization tells potential customers that this kind of service is available for sale at this price at this place. Hence the two corners of the triangle are the company and the customers. A promise is made by the company with the customers here. Internal marketing is the communication between the company and the employees. Service firms effectively train and motivate their customer who can contact employees and all the supporting service people to work as a team to provide customer satisfaction. The promise is enabled in internal marketing. Third is interactive marketing. This is the communication between customers and employees of the service organization. Service quality depends heavily on the quality of the buyer-seller interaction during the service encounter. The same promise is delivered here. We shall try to understand the theory generalized for all kinds of services on a specific service from healthcare industry, a hospital. We shall study a hospital here for its marketing. Each and every service organization can be defined as a system where input is processed to get an output. Hospital as an organization is designed to achieve a set of goals for healthcare satisfaction of the users of their services. The system has been effectively shown in the diagram. In a hospital, an unhealthy person enters. Input is the patient and the equipment and the healthcare staff. Then processes to cure the patient. Then patient's health is the main output. This is how we define a hospital as a system. For a hospital to measure customer satisfaction, that is patient satisfaction, the hospital marketer needs to answer questions like, why does the patient buy our services? Or what is the utility of my core service? How important are the services of their hospital for the patient? Because after utility, it is required to understand the importance of the bundle of services for a particular customer. Then competitive environment analysis is also a prerequisite of efficient marketing. So the answer should be found to the question, does the customer also buy services of my competitor? And then we need to ask, which is the most popular or appreciable service of my hospital, so that the organization can focus on the quality and marketing of those popular services. What is the patient's feedback about my hospital? Customer feedback is as important for service organization as it is important for a product manufacturer, because customer feedback only helps in improving the process through quality control. So friends, in this video we have learned what is a service and how to market a service. We have also applied the marketing theory on a popular service organization, hospital. In case you have any question related to this video, feel free to contact me at my email alkajain2008@gmail.com. You can like and share my videos. Please subscribe so that you do not miss next videos on marketing. Till then, enjoy marketing knowledge. Good luck. Thank you.